Made it to my parents. First things first, I got my wheel lock and my regular driver for these. I'm going to loosen these up so I make my life easier when I take them off. I don't use the impact on these because they're very expensive and they're my favorite lugs. So my friend Duke got them for me, and I'm not trying to gouge them up and have them, you know, unfriend me. So I'm only doing this because it'll be easier to take them off. So I'm just gonna crack them loose, basically. Jack up the car, put jack stands on it, and then get rolling on this. Alright guys, next step is making sure that the presets on the front shocks are kind of where they need to be. The way to tell which one's your front and rear, obviously the rear is longer, but the front have helper springs on them. Takes a little. Real quick before I get started installing these, one measurement that I'm taking is from the lock rings here before I tie in them. This already came preset from RR Racing to lower it to kind of the most popular height, so I'm just going to roll with that and start that as my baseline. But I'm 3 inches and 1/8 on both sides from here to here, so when I make my adjustment later, I know kind of where to go back to. And there is, so on the front it's saying to make the adjustment from here, not from down here. So we're going to go ahead and tie in these because they're a little bit loose, and then snug those up, and then we'll get started with removing the originals. Alright, just going to use this screwdriver as leverage so that I can tighten this bottom section. And these are 3s. This is a beautiful little logo they have on there. It's going to peel right off because I can already see the glue coming off on the bottom. So we'll see how long that lasts. Alright, next in line, we have to get this sensor disconnected here. And my fuel line's in the way. This is a flex fuel sensor line that I did, and I'm going to be selling soon. It's an adapter, full plug and play kit for the RCF, that it's now in the way. So this lock here, you have to take this clip off first. There we go. And once you take this clip off, the sensor just unplugs. There we go. So I think you do have to push that little button right there, but that's off, so we're good. This will stay unplugged, and from what I was told, it's not going to turn the check engine light on. All right, to remove the full brace on both sides and the little shock towers, we are using a 12mm socket and a 14, I believe. Yeah, 14. 12 and 14 extension and socket, and we can get this whole thing removed. So start with the 12s up here. All right, loosen this other one. This one's super tight. There we go. Here's that little clip. You can use a flathead if you don't want to use your nails. I'm just being impatient, so there we go. clip is off. Push that center button and sensor is out. Perfect. All right. No leverage. Anytime there's dust on the fenders and you lean on it, you will scratch it. Got it a little black. All right, everything's loose now. Well, not everything. There's still the bigger bolts for the shock towers. I think once you loosen everything, it's a lot easier to just take your time and do the rest by hand. Especially because if you drop anything on this engine, you are likely to not get it back. Alright, gonna take off the brake line. That's 10 millimeter. This guy right here. And then it is a 3/4 for the bottom. I'm gonna have to do this by hand. No. Alright, I got this side in. I'm going to take the other side off. One thing I wanted to mention is that these little clips here, they're for the, I think it's the ABS line that gets clipped on the side of the shock, because the original ones have this little tab here. But we won't have that anymore with these, so this is what will get it on there. So you can do it one of two ways. You can put the nut on one side, or yeah, I'm not really sure if I did it the smartest way, to be honest, but it'll be fine. No. They're not curved. They were like that from shipping.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. They stacked them. Spare part. This thing showed up fucking dented right here. It's on this side. Hold on. Let's drop it in first.
Yeah, hoses and shit are. You're clear in this one. Alright, just Some bitch that actually kind of looks like a fit.
Alright, so it's not clearing on this fucking bracket over here.
You only get it in orange, eh?
Huh?
You only get it in orange, eh?
No, they had other colors. I chose orange.
Why can't we go with the blue?
I don't like it. Alright, I'm gonna pry on both of these brackets on both sides because the bracket is rubbing on them. And also there's a spacer included with the brace that it looks like it's definitely gonna need because it was hovering over on the shock tower. So these guys got to go here, and then the brace over on top, and then let's see if it works. Alright, sorry guys, my GoPro memory is full, so I have to use my phone now. So nuts are in. Make sure you get the washers in there so you don't fuck up the coating. And just so you guys know, from this point on, once you put this brace on, there is no taking off the cover without taking the brace off. So that's gonna make it a pain in the ass to do certain things. But it looks like my ethanol kit goes around it nice and it clears. Everything else clears pretty good. We still gotta finish tightening everything up, but for the RCF, it looks like you need that spacer. I don't know if the ISF needs it. I'm assuming they both do. But without that spacer, it doesn't go down far enough. Put in a little bit of pressure on the lower suspension so I can get the bolts to pop up all the way. And that way we can get the nuts on. So I'm just putting everything loosely on, and then I'm gonna tighten those back ones first and then this one. It looks like this moves around, but I think if you were to tighten this first and then that, you're gonna tweak things a little bit. All right, moment of truth. Let's see if we drop this guy. Fuck things up. Oh. Yeah, this is gonna suck. So the extension's too short. All right, so we're gonna try this piece of plastic so it'll hold the nut in place. Whoa, look at that. It's just long enough, that little tiny extension. Now that it's started, let's see if I can use this one. That's better grip on it. All right, that's as far as it goes. Try not to nick this. All right, brace this in, and it's nice and tight. It does touch the cover, just barely. I mean, I might be able to fit maybe like a piece of paper under there, maybe. But we know that this engine rarely moves, especially if you're running the RR motor mounts. One thing to keep in mind that I just figured out the hard way is you should bolt this on before you put the brace on. I mean, there's enough room in there to fit an Allen in there, but make life easier for yourself and just do it beforehand. This is a little adjuster for the rebound. All right, so just for the sake of having this on video, I'll show you guys real quick. It does say we pre-configure the shocks at 10 clicks from full hard. So full hard would be to the right, so that's 1, 2. All right, take 2. So I'm all the way at the stiffest setting. By the way, it was not 10 clicks, it was more than that, so it was set off. So I'm glad we checked it. We're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's where we're leaving it. Let's go try the other side. All right, next step is mounting the tires, and we're gonna lower it, see where it sits, and see if I have to make another adjustment, which I realized earlier that I may have to. And the only reason I say that is because both shocks were the same height, the way they were set up. But this does have a helper spring. That thing collapses the minute, see how soft that is? The minute I drop it, it's gonna collapse. So I'm losing that. So that's how much it's gonna lower the front. I did want to lower the front slightly more than what the Swift lowering springs give it. So it may or may not be in the perfect position, but we'll find out. Real quick, something important to note is that if you do have to adjust the height, there is plenty of room there if you jack up the car to get the wrenches in there and unlock it and twist it, so you don't have to remove the wheel. So we're gonna go ahead and lower the car, and then I'm gonna torque the wheels, see where it sits. To make sure it's sitting in the right area, I'm gonna drive around the block for a little bit, let it settle, and then I'll come back. And then if it's where I want it, I'll leave it. If not, then we jack it again, but we don't have to remove the wheels again. So that's good. All right, so I was wrong. This is not too low, it's way too high. This is the gap that I have right now. That's ridiculous. So I'm gonna have to drop it. I want it like hovering right over the wheel. So let's take a measurement real quick and then see how much I gotta lower it, and then try again. All right guys, so I lowered this bottom lock down 1 inch. I know I said 1.25 inches, but I pushed out, and I'm gonna try 1 inch first, see what happens. All right, so here's the front. That was with an extra inch drop, so I'm pretty glad I didn't do that extra 1/4, because I have a feeling it might settle a little bit more. So I'm gonna drive it. I'll be back tomorrow to do the rear, and we'll see how much it settles. The way it's sitting right now, it looks like this side's slightly lower, so I might have to make an adjustment, but it might just be the angle of the car. We'll find out. Ride's great though. Nice and stiff, doesn't feel like it's gonna rub. All right, so it's the day after, and I had gone a little bit lower on the last video, and it settled even more overnight. So I have to lift it now because I'm literally scraping everywhere. Any little bump will make this area scrape right here. I love the way it looks, but it also doesn't feel like it has enough travel. So I'm gonna raise it about 1/2 inch. And that's gonna put me right where the Swift springs used to be, maybe a hair lower. But I wanna be able to ride at a comfortable speed and not worry about scraping, especially doing any kind of pulls on the highway. You're gonna hit some bumps, and the last thing I need is my fenders to get ripped off. Looks great though. And the back, honestly, if I can leave the back the way it is with the new springs. I haven't done the back yet, I'm doing that in a little bit. So yeah, so that's where we're at. First things first, I'm gonna go lift the front a little bit, and then we'll take care of the back.